So how about around here then? Do you think, like Trevor, now you have a guy, right? There's 16 jerseys everywhere. Trevor's an easy guy to pull for. We think Trevor's going to be here for a decade. It's hard to say he's going to be here for the entire career. It's hard to say that about anybody. Well, how can you say that? Like, I'm not trying to get anybody mad about this.
I understand. Like if Joe Montana gets kicked out of town.
Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, all go to other teams.
Yeah, Peyton was broken. I thought Brady used to be a very big proponent of 3-year marriage contracts. You get married, mandatory 3 years, and then when you go in for the renegotiation, you both go, all right, we in for another 3 years? Fine. And then if you break up 1 year into the 3, the money it costs you is higher prorated than if you break up 3 years into the 3.
That is actually not awful.
Yeah. 3-year deals, just like running backs.
That's not bad.
By the way, shout out to my wife. I love you very much.
My second one.
Oh, boy.
Come on. You set yourself up for that, man. I mean, we love you, Brent. Sorry.
Very much.
Glad you don't listen to the show.
I feel very red in the face right now.
You look
so do I.
So do you. You look it too.
By the way, we understand.
How long contract are you in with Amanda?
Yeah, Case, what's your contract?
Be careful. She's the only one that does listen to the show.
He tried to lock her into a lifetime contract, but she knew better.
I feel like I'm in a lifetime contract.
You'd like to be.
I've been in it a while.
How long have you guys been together?
We've been married for like 2, but we've been together for like 9, 10.
Oh, man. One day she's going to wake up and wonder.
Thank you, man.
She's going to feel like, really? The only option?
I appreciate that. You know what? When I came in here today, I was looking for the strength to keep going in life. And I'll tell you what, I didn't just get.
You came to the wrong person, bro.
That. Shout out to reassurance.
I actually always wondered, like,
oh, boy.
Divorce becomes so normalized. Mm-hmm. Like, we're kind of almost there.
I think we're there.
Right? That divorce is so normalized, like you almost would think, not that people getting married would think that, because you're never going to start your relationship that way, but from the outside looking in, you're like, the chances are they're probably going to do 2 of these.
Yeah. Well, right? I mean, not everyone these days, but you're right. Like, a lot of it, it's commonplace.
Yeah.
I think it was more commonplace a few years back. I think the rates are actually in decline right now.
Are they really?
But
shout out.
I think it's because people are waiting longer to get married now. They're waiting longer to have kids. They're waiting longer to get married. When you're older, you're not as wandering with that eye, and then maybe more people make smarter decisions in that sense. But you're probably right.
Well, I mean, it's just part of the evolution. Like, I feel like when I was a kid, like, it was like, oh, they're divorced?
Well, like, you've been in a relationship.
Like, it was almost like this stunning, what does that mean? Or what is that? Like, I felt like people were around.
But you had parents who divorced, though.
Well, yeah, but not to, like, they were married for like 42 years.
Oh, you were older. Okay.
Like,
I didn't realize that.
So, like, I didn't grow up in that, but my best friend did, and so many others. But again, it was kind of like you felt like people were like, oh, that's not supposed to happen.
Well, I'll say
not
it to you.
anymore. Like, no way.
I'll say it to you like this, because clearly you've been in the same relationship since high school. So you're not in a relationship. I'm just saying, you're not in a relationship where you often think about the relationship is bad. I'm unhappy. This isn't going to work. But when you're in those relationships and you're dating, you go, oh, we can't break up. My sweaters are at her house, and I've got her keys or whatever. And then you guys get engaged, and you're like, oh, we can't break up. We just told everyone we're going to get married. And then you get married, and you're like, oh, we can't break up. We just made everyone come to a wedding and give us money for gifts. And then you have kids.
That's the whole reason to do it again.
Yes. And then you have kids, and you're like, oh, we can't break up. We have little humans now we're responsible.
Yeah.
And then you end up breaking up, and you go, you know what?
Should have just broke up.
It wasn't that bad. We should have done this a long time ago.
Should have just broke up when you had the sweaters.
But
now
you
we got
also
humans.
know that you can do it again, to your point, Brent, right? So the next time you go into marriage, you go in knowing not only can I leave, but this person can go too. So let's make sure we're locking this in the right way. I think I might have mentioned this before. In Florida, when you get divorced, if you have kids, they make you take a course.
What? Oh, do they?
Like a co-parenting course. But they're sure to give you stats. And the stats they give you are this. They say, whatever the rate of divorces in this state for first marriages is this. But second marriages is higher by more than 10%.
Really?
Are they trying to scare you back into it?
And third marriages are even higher than that by more. It was up at around 70-something%.
Huh.
Well,
and they say the reason is if you're out there getting married 2 or 3 times, chances are you're not taking the time to go fix yourself.
Chances are it's you. You're the problem.
Well, that's the point,
well,
right?
whoever is in the third, it's probably you.
Yes, and you're not fixing yourself, unrealistic expectations or bad behaviors. And so you realize once you divorce the first time, it's not as hard as you think it is. And so you're willing to do it again.
That's interesting because I'll sit here, and maybe it's my age, and say, I don't really know a lot of people that have been divorced twice.
They're not.
I know a ton of people have been divorced, though.
Well, we work with one who's engaged for the third time, so you know one of them.
Okay.
Oh, congratulations.
Maybe I just don't know enough about
It just happened over the last weekend.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to go look and see who got engaged.
But it is interesting.
There's an
like,
email.
It's like divorces are like tattoos to me now. Just like, it's just that's okay.
I got a couple of those too.
But tattoos, like, I honestly, like, say this now. I don't know if I ever see a person without a tattoo now.
Yeah, everyone's got them.
Everyone, and I'm not saying
It's
this
actually,
in a bad way.
It's
like,
weird if you don't, yeah.
I would say Brent, like 10 years ago, would be like, I don't really like, I actually kind of like it. Like,
Not
I've
having a
grown
tattoo.
to, seeing the tattoos.
Well, it's an interesting, like, reflection of someone's taste or art.
It is, like, in all different ones. But I'm watching a college softball game this past weekend, and I think 80% of the girls had tattoos.
Yeah.
Like that you could see, like, on arms or wherever else. And I'm like, used to, like, the girls would have a tattoo, like, on their ankle.
Yeah.
Or something like that, right?
Yeah, somewhere not really,
super visible.
Yeah.
Or not big, or maybe it's small, and it's
small.
like not the case. And it's just wild to me. Like, that's been an evolution of, like, my eyes in our society. It's like tattoos are a thing.
We're about to enter the golden age of tattoo. You got a lot of these tattoo artists using AI to help develop, like, new designs.
Oh, wow.
And then they have these inks that, like, you can put on your arm for 2 weeks, give it a little test drive.
Really? And then get it off if you don't like it?
And then get it off if you don't like it, yeah.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah. And so
Like, that would satisfy the itch to do it?
Yeah.
And then, is it, like, more expensive to do it that way?
I don't think so. I think it's like an expensive temporary tattoo as opposed to, like, a real tattoo.
What else is like
hundreds of dollars.
tattoos in our society? That, like, everybody started getting, like, everybody. I mean, in a way, that's going to be bad.
You could say piercings, like ear piercings, but they're not as hot as they were.
They're as hot. I think that kind of is.
They were hot, though.
They
A
were.
little bit of
I
a
had
wave.
3 earrings. Yeah.
You had three earrings?
I did, yeah.
Really?
Is that so shocking to you?
Not shocking.
Yeah.
You
I
got any
guess,
pictures?
I do.
I felt like earrings were a big thing, like, in high school.
That's when I got it. Well, I got them at the end of high school, but yeah. My mom told me if I got one, she was going to throw me
There
out
you
of the
go.
house.
That's
and
why
I
you got 'em. You
Immediately
got
got
3.
3 of them, yeah.
There you go.
Immediately.
That's
What
that.
now, Mom?
You know what else I've noticed recently?
She won that fight, by the way.
When I see somebody smoking a cigarette,
Scoreboard.
I'm like, holy cow, a cigarette.
I'll give you another one.
Like, you don't
Cigarette?
see, like, cigarettes, I notice it now when people actually have a cigarette.
Yes. How about a full-on red Coke, not Coke Zero? That's another one, too.
That's a good point.
Where it's
That's
like,
a good one.
You see
You're
someone
right.
drinking a red Coke, you're like, oh, this guy really doesn't care about himself, huh?
Red Coke. I love how you call it a red Coke.
I don't know what else to call it. There's a 57,000 grams of sugar in a Coke.
Is there really?
I mean, it's like 48 grams or so.
Wow.
Yeah, it's weight.
I've never had a Coke Zero.
Never?
Never. Because
They
I have
make
Diet
them room
Coke.
temp, too, if you want one.
I have Diet Coke.
They're
Room
good.
temp Diet Coke
A
is
good DC is good. A good McDonald's DC is
Oh,
really good.
McDonald's
Woo.
Diet Coke is the best, man.
They get a different
Whatever
mix in there.
Stuff they put in it. It's
No,
great.
it's documented. They have a special deal with Coca-Cola where they get a different mix, whereas the ice melts, it kind of balances out the taste.
Really?
That's an awesome call by you, though. Like, I went from tattoos to cigarettes and vaping to you
Aaron
went
said,
to
the red Coke.
And
Yeah.
but you're right. Like,
Yes.
people don't drink regular Coke anymore.
But cigarettes are good. My son saw someone smoking a cigarette on the street. He told me like he heard a curse word. It's like, Dad, this guy's smoking. It's like,
Well,
yeah, I
here's
see
the
it.
other thing. I was in New York when they kept it out of restaurants, right? When that started to happen. And now you go to a restaurant. I mean, any time you go to a restaurant, you smell it, or if it was a bar or a casino. Casino really is, I think, the last place I probably smelled it indoors.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, it hits you.
Yeah.
Right? Because you haven't.
You still smell it in some concert venues, too, small ones. Yeah.
Okay. And then, now you, like, we were in St. Augustine over the weekend and somebody was smoking in front of us and the wind was kind of blowing it back. You're
rough,
like,
right?
I haven't smelled this in a while.
Dude,
It's a really interesting.
I loved cigarettes for like 25 years, and I still don't like the smell of them at this point. It's like, you don't smell it anymore.
And we're almost there with marijuana. Like, everywhere you go,
You smell something.
marijuana.
Yeah.
Like, everywhere you go. Jags games.
Yeah.
Walking down the street. Like, we're almost there. Like, are we going to be smelling it in the hallways here soon?
Why not? Well, you don't have to smoke it anymore, so I don't know how much longer you're going to smell it. People taking lozenges and asthma sprays and topical creams and all kinds
But
of
again,
stuff.
this is like a non-judgmental zone, but it's also just an observation zone. It's like, it's wild to see how things like that change.
accepted,
From tattoos to Coke Zero to cigarettes.
Look, I was watching a fully colorized video of people walking around in New York on YouTube. It's like one of these black and white videos from like the 30s or 40s.
How did you get
They
there?
completely colorized, just some rabbit hole I fell down. They completely colorized it. They used AI, and it really does kind of connect you to these people you'll never meet. But like everybody who's just hanging out, like Case, just walking down the block on a Saturday wearing a button-up shirt, suit, and dress pants and a top hat. And you're like, what's this is just to go to the grocery store.
Yeah, it's wild. That's wild.
Now I'm looking at my wife going, which basketball shorts am I allowed? Can I wear the fancy basketball shorts or am I wearing the regular basketball shorts?
Yep.
These guys dressing like they're going to a tuxedo dance. Couldn't imagine it. Going to school in a button-up shirt. Get out of here. I chose this job just to wear T-shirts.
I agree with that.
You did. You've done a good job, too.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You have delivered on your end.
Shout out to my T-shirts. Thank you.
You have delivered on your end. Well, we've done this before now. I have not worn a tie on TV
Yeah.
since... What month are we in? We're like...
We're
where are
in
we?
October.
October?
You would have been fired for that 30 years
It's
ago.
been this year. Like, this whole year. And
Screw ties.
Shock the world. Wear one.
I took...
Around your forehead, right? It's a party thing.
Yeah, wear it and not where it's supposed to be.
I might
They
have
should
worn
just make the
one
crayons
because,
say Party Brent.
because I told the other guy not to wear one, and the old guy ended up wearing one, so I had to wear one.
The old
One of those kind of things. But I've said this before. I think we will get to a point where you look in like, I don't know, 2015, and whoever was selling ties, they were making X amount of money. And in 2025 or 2030, that business will have not gone away because some people will still wear them, but
Pretty
it will have
much.
shrunk to like crazy levels.
Like 96% difference from what it was to what it is.
I don't even
Absolutely.
own a tie.
I own a lot of them, but I don't wear them anymore.
If
And
I
own a
had to
lot
go
of
to a funeral or a wedding, got to go buy a tie first.
You don't need a tie
I don't
for a
even think you
funeral.
need a tie for a funeral anymore.
No.
Or a wedding.
Then I will never, ever have a tie.
Last wedding I went to a couple of weeks ago in New York, no tie.
No tie.
Other people wearing a tie felt like a jerk, but no tie.
Okay,
Corporate
so
America is
you
getting away
should
from
still wear a tie.
I don't
Good.
know. I got away with it.
the corporate bosses
you?
are getting away from ties.
Yeah. It's all cash.
Yeah.
Biz cash.
And by the way, that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah, ties stink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in fat ball season, man. You get chubbed up a little bit right there by the ties.
That's the worst.
Chubbed up, choked
It's
up.
the same thing with a button-up shirt. Don't be coming for
Man,
my
just
neck like
loosen
that, bro.
thing up.
You gotta have some hairs poking out.
All right. I guess we'll get back to talking sports after this, but that was
Why?
fun.
There's no point.
That was a lot of fun. We'll be back on ESPN 690.